My name is Ray Nielsen, and I started working with Queensland Railways in 1974. Well, as a guard, you are responsible for the maintaining and keeping an eye on that everything was running good with the train along the tracks. The driver and fireman used to just have the responsibility of the engine, but we used to have to be responsible for the rest of the train. Yes, I first started as a porter shunter at a place called Theebine. Before that it was called Cookhaven Junction, and I was shunter porter there at Theebine for a number of years. From there I went to Brisbane, down to guard school, and I got sent out to Ewenden to get classified as a guard, and I got a position back at Gympie. Gympie was my home station then, from there on. Yes, I have driver and fireman mainly, because the guards, I never used to see them too often because I'd be working and they'd be on another train. But I've got three fire drivers here: Jack Ison, Terry Nicholas and Mal Saw, who were drivers, and Dougie Kunst, Warren Alford and Glenn Murray were firemen. As a guard, I worked Gympie to Mergen, and I used to have to go out and relieve the guard out at Mergen, and from there I had to work Mergen out to Kingaroy. Yeah, Dickerbrand Bridge was the bridge that crossed over the Mary River. It had gates, one on each end of the station. It was a road rail bridge, and when the trains used to have to go through there, the gates closed and they were only allowed to do a speed limit of 4 miles per hour over the bridge. Yes, out on the branch line, both the Mary Valley line and the Kingaroy line, they used to be what they called staff and ticket. The staff was an instrument that was used to get handled from one station to another. They were all different identities, and without them you couldn't go on any further on the track until you had the right staff with you. There was, there was Miver, where the Dickerbrand Bridge was, Miver and Waluga, Kilkeven, Gameri and Mergen. From Mergen we go to Wandai, Crawford and Kingaroy. Used to stop most stations because you always had either a shunt or roadside there, and besides the driver had to get staff to work the next section. So yeah, practically stopped at nearly every station along that track. Yes, when the weather got too low, most of the houses out there belonging to the railway people, they had tanks, water tanks in front of them near the line. We used to take out a big water tanker and we'd go out there and we'd fill them up with water so they could last through the dry spell. Yes, mostly general goods and produce, animals such as pigs, small calves, and cream. Yes, cream sheds were you'd spot them quite a bit along the line. Sometimes they wouldn't actually be the name of a station or anything like that. It'll just be a cream shed out in the middle of nowhere where the farmers used to put their cream and butter and cheese and so forth to send to the markets here in Gympie, to the butter factory. I loved working for the railway. It was hard work, particularly with all the shunting you used to have to do. But yes, I enjoyed my time with the Queensland Railways. Yes, I do have an incident that happened to me on the Kingaroy line. I was going over the Gympie range, and of course a lot of curves and bends in it, and you couldn't always see the whole train. So it was a good place to have a bit of a quiet snooze if you wanted. And anyway, when I got out into the open and had checked on all my train, everything was okay. And then I got to Mergen, signed off, went and had break, my usual 8-hour break that we used to have. And when I went on to sign on for duty, station master said to me, "Did you have trouble on the line this morning, Nielsen?" I said, "No, not that I'm aware of." He said, "Yes, you did. One of your wagons came off the line and left quite a few dents in the sleepers." I said, "Well, I didn't see it. It was all right every time I checked it." And I never heard any more about it from that. My time at the moment is spending still with trains. I am a volunteer for the Mary Valley Rattler.
Thank you so much, Ray, for participating in this oral history interview about the railway. I hope you enjoyed it.
I certainly did. Thank you.